Today, Mesa County bids a heartfelt farewell to Commissioner Janet Rowland as she concludes her service on January 14, 2025. Janet Rowland served 3 terms, dedicating 12 years as a commissioner to shaping and enhancing the lives of Mesa County residents. Janet leaves a legacy of unwavering commitment to the community. Janet's impact spans diverse and significant initiatives, demonstrating her dedication to addressing community needs, fostering partnerships, and laying the groundwork for sustainable growth. During her most recent term, her leadership in behavioral health, public safety, and advocacy for families and children has been particularly transformative. Among her many accomplishments, Janet championed child welfare by founding How Are the Children, a child abuse prevention initiative, and was a founding member and first board chair of Prevent Child Abuse Colorado. She enhanced behavioral health services by completing a comprehensive community assessment of Mesa County's behavioral health system, creating the Multi-Agency Collaboration, or MAC team, and co-response initiatives, and forming the Behavioral Health Task Force to address critical service gaps. Janet played a critical role in establishing the Summit View Treatment Center and later expanding it along with community corrections facilities, supporting the Clifton Sheriff's Substation, and working on housing affordability by eliminating planning fees in 2009 and maintaining the lowest transportation impact fees in the Valley. Janet led infrastructure and community projects, overseeing the completion of the 29 Road Bridge as part of the 29 Road Corridor projects, the completion of Longs Park, and the creation of Clifton and DeBeck community centers. Thank you, Janet Rowland, for your unwavering dedication and service to Mesa County. Your legacy will continue to inspire and shape our community for years to come.
Janet's focus has always been children first. She started the How Are the Children movement. She is constantly looking out for kids and how she can make kids most successful. And she's most moved by any story where a kid is successful. She's one of those people who has so much energy and so many ideas. Every time Janet approaches me with some idea, it's how to make this county better. And so, she has so much energy and such an ability to pull people together to get things done that whenever she pitches a project to me, I just can't say no because I know it's going to be something that will be successful and something that will help the community. The Mesa County Meth Task Force was a big one that we put a lot of time into together. And then after 8 years of her being commissioner, she left because of term limits and was gone for 8 years. And during that time, she was the executive director of CASA of Mesa County. And then I was very surprised and pleased to learn that she wanted to come back to county government and run for commissioner again. And it picked up right where it left off. It was great to have her come in with all of her energy and immediately start talking about mental health and how we can do things to make this community better and more successful and people happier. It's interesting to watch her because she comes across as very tough and kind of like a bulldog, but really she is a complete softie. She is constantly just rooting for people. Anytime she hears a story about somebody succeeding that, had to go through a lot to get there, you can oftentimes see her getting visibly choked up, sometimes getting teary. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that about her. I don't see Janet's passion for kids, passion for helping people with mental health issues going away, and the fact that she's no longer going to be a commissioner is not going to change her involvement, or I certainly hope it does not, but I would be very surprised if it did. It has been a pleasure to work with her for all these years. I will very much miss her and hope that she does not go too far.
I can't capture 27 years of friendship in just 2 minutes. I do recall, however, some of the old days in the county when we were in the old photo shop on 29.5 Road with no budget for repair and maintenance. I did tend to move your office around a little bit because you would always make Lance come in and paint it and refresh it. Thank you, Lance. I appreciate it. Janet, you amazed Dr. Updike, Sally Schaefer, and myself when you interviewed to be the first ever volunteer coordinator in the county. You were wonderful. Your strong work ethic, your creativity, your focus on always doing the right thing for children and families far exceeded our expectations. My 2 granddaughters, who are now in their 30s, still talk of helping Miss Janet in her Suppertime Solutions program. I also recall the old Stewie and Hazel series. It concerns me to this day that you and Sally seem to be in cahoots against poor old Stewie. You also always placed a priority on development of collaborative approaches of services in the county. You knew it was the right thing to do. Hilltop Community Services, Colorado West Mental Health, Public Health, the Workforce Center, on and on and on. You helped bring in experts to help train staff and create services for families. Dr. Bruce Perry, Dr. Robin Carr Morris to enhance our child abuse services. And we had Dr. Bruce Perry in before Oprah did. Annie Casey Foundation to strengthen our integration of services. Always focused on doing the right thing. I want to leave you with the words of an American Native friend of mine left me when I retired from Mesa County. Those who preserve their integrity remain unshaken by the storms of daily life. They do not stir like leaves on a tree or follow the herd wherever it runs. In their mind remains the ideal attitude and conduct of living. This is not something given to them by others. It is in their roots. It is the strength that exists in their soul, their spirit, their being. Thank you, Janet, for always doing the right thing, for always heading true north. Love you and wish you well, dear.
Janet, thank you for your time, passion, and commitment to this community. Your service has truly been one that has left a lasting impression on our community, and every corner of Mesa County has benefited from your passionate dedication to making sure that every citizen is served and thought of, and every day that you've shown up to work for us, the community. We wish you all the best and can't wait to see what next phase in life you have and how you look to give back to the community, because we know it is deeply ingrained and you will always find a way to give back to this community.
Well, I've known Janet for about 2 decades, and as a friend, as a colleague, and as a mentor. She's somebody that I've always looked up to, and we attended a leadership program together. It was at that leadership program that I learned a little bit about kind of what kind of a person she was. And then later we became friends, and we have embarked on all sorts of adventures together between government and policy discussions and cooking show conversations, because Janet and I tried to do that cooking show together. We had a great time. Most people don't really know how fun Janet can be because she takes her work so seriously, and she's the epitome of what I consider the best public servant, right? Somebody who is, all her motivations are for her constituents. It's for the people. How can she make this community better? And that's never wavered. She's always been focused on what is right for the people. And so when she first ran for county commissioner, she, that was a long time ago, probably 20 years ago now. And she tried to encourage me, and I said, no way, I'm not doing that. And then ultimately did. A lot because of watching how she handled herself as a commissioner. As you know, there are some commissioners that do a little work, and there's some commissioners that do a whole lot of work, and Janet falls in that second category, always looking for ways that she can collaborate and make things better. In particular, her work in the behavioral health and mental health field, her work has been nothing short of miraculous. Putting groups together to develop programs that actually work and help and are quantifiable. So I've always really looked up to Janet and how she, her work ethic is above reproach. What I love best about Janet is that she's, you get into politics and you're not really sure how to behave. You're not quite sure. And, we see things on the television about how we are. Janet's not the jazz hands kind of a politician. Janet is serious about her work. She is dedicated, she's determined, and she's probably one of the most productive individuals that I know. So when you ask Janet to do something, it might be a few minutes, but you have you already have something in your inbox that she's actually done for you. So as a commissioner, she's been great for me because she had a lot more experience than I did. So I've really relied on her in terms of policy, kind of ideas on how you can make your community and your county better. So for me, I will personally feel a great loss not having Janet in that commissioner seat. But it's been really great to see her grow, and especially from her first term to her second term, she mellowed out a little bit and really got down to doing the work of the county and the business. And her focus, as everybody knows, is in human services. She believes in that field. She believes in the, helping people. She has such a kind heart. And not everybody knows that about Janet because she's really at heart an introvert. So she again, like, she's not the jazz hands politician. She's the person that's going to actually get things done. And on that same note, one of the most ethical people I've ever met, and really strong sense of right and wrong. And so you can see how people that don't share those same values, that's a little intimidating. But I admire her for being brave, and she is brave and courageous, and I wish her well in her future. I can't wait to see what she does next. I'll miss her as a colleague, but we'll be friends forever.
Commissioner Rowland, I just want to thank you for the last 4 years that I've got to serve with you. You've been such a support to law enforcement and in my office, and a support to me personally. I really want to tell you how much I appreciate that you always thought about the individual when we were working on things such as mental health or people that are incarcerated. This shouldn't be. That should be treated in a mental health facility or by mental health professionals. You always had the best interest of those individuals, not government, but the individual being served. And I appreciate that so much. I've seen you fight during meetings to make sure those people are served at the proper level. Over the last 4 years, we've got to work on some pretty amazing things. One of them that I'll never forget is your desire to serve the Clifton community. We recognized early that that's an underserved population, and your desire and your willingness and your compassion to bring in the Clifton Transformation Group, to build a community center for them, to put our substation right in the middle of their community. You have been a passionate supporter of Clifton your entire time in office, not just the last term. And I thank you for recognizing that. I thank you for putting their needs above government needs and always looking to improve people's lives. This community is going to be forever shaped by some of the decisions that you have made and forced through. You weren't ever the person that had an idea and waited for somebody else to complete your idea. You were the person that collaborated, developed a plan, and then you did the hard work of making sure that we actually accomplished what we were trying to do. And I will miss you. You're not done. You have too much energy. I wish you and Lance the very best, but you have too much energy and too much compassion and too much desire to serve communities. And I'm excited to see what you do in the future. I just want to thank you so much for what you've done for my career and for what you've done for the citizens of Mesa County, Colorado.
Hi, Commissioner. Thank you. Thank you for everything you've done over the years for public service, for our community, for those that are most vulnerable in our community, and for just bringing a joyful will and commitment to doing the very best job that you could possibly do, representing the citizens of Mesa County. You are going to be missed, I think, more than most people realize. All the things that you did, both behind the scenes and out in front in public, are so appreciated and so needed in public service today. And so thank you, sincerely, and best of luck for all the future holds. We're gonna miss you.
What I've always appreciated about Janet in all of the years I've known her is her consistent commitment to principle. So whatever the issue was that was going on in the county or at CASA or wherever, she was looking at it from the standpoint of what is the principle behind it. And she was so interested in people being able to flourish and to reach their potential. What I did over the years when I was wrestling with with something is I would call Janet and talk about what was going on, and she would always help me get to the principle behind what it is we were trying to do. And I've always appreciated that about her. Janet's been such a great public servant to Mesa County for so many years, and she's going to be missed.
Hey, this is Josh Penry. I want to lend my voice to the many other voices in thanking Janet Rowland for her incredible tenure of leadership for the people of Mesa County and people of Colorado in this country. Janet's a dear friend and is an extraordinary leader and made a huge impact. I think about what characterizes who Janet is as a person and as a leader, and 3 words come to mind. First is that she's fearless. When she ran for office, she and I and Craig Meese ran for office for the first time in the same election year. None of us were party activists or insiders. None of us the newspaper particularly cared for. And we all put our head down and ran races together and won and built a relationship and a friendship through that. One thing I always admired about Janet through all that and through watching her both from across the street and from a distance over these years is you're never going to push her around. She's going to do what she thinks is right. She's going to do things on her terms, and she doesn't let the bastards get her down. So that's the first thing. She's fearless. The second is that she's relentless. She's going to outwork you. Nobody brings a bigger work ethic to any conversation than Janet does. She's tireless. She'll knock on doors. She'll make calls. She'll read. She's a massive consumer of information so that she can know more and learn more in order to better her job. And so, her work ethic is certainly something that always stood out to me, and it's why she had so much success. And the last thing I would say is that Janet cares deeply and profoundly. It's interesting for a person who is a deeply conservative person, as she is, who picked a rather large fight in one of her first years in elected office with the Republican governor over a tax issue. She also had this deep and abiding passion for kids and the systems, both local level and the state level, that look after kids and foster kids and the protective custodies and the human services, all those things. I mean, sort of her knowledge is second to none. In part, it was guided and fueled by her passion for young people. She really, in that sense, lived in Christ's commandment to look after the least among us, while embracing a really strong conservative ideology. And I always admired that, and it always made it hard for some people to characterize her politics. And I don't think she ever much cared, because she was always true to herself. So Janet did a terrific job. She did it her way. She did it on her terms. Janet made an incredible impact for the people of her community and her state. I'm incredibly proud to be her friend and wish her well and thank her so much for her incredible service to the people of this state, this country. Thanks so much, Janet.
Janet has had a whole career of public service, or at least a significant part of that. And what she brings that I think is really unique is that not only does she see a problem and have a vision how to fix it, but she also has a really great ability to execute a solution. So she's able to stay on task and look at the details and organize people while also being a visionary, which is really unique. Most people are kind of one or the other, but what it's resulted in is a whole career of accomplishments that have benefited our community. And she's not done.
Janet, I've known you for more than 25 years. We first met when we were both working for Mesa County. You as a caseworker at the Department of Human Services, and I was an attorney. I knew then that you were focused on service to the community. You've worked in so many capacities for our Mesa County community. I remember the times when we toured the jail and ate the jail lunches. The food was always warm, nutritious, and tasty. And while the meals were really pretty good, I never want to eat sauerkraut again. I've appreciated your generosity, the time you commit, and the energy you devote to all things. I can't even imagine the number of lists you have created. You've always championed children. When the board sent me to the Department of Human Services as the interim director so many, many years ago, and much to my terror, it was clear how much the citizens meant to you. The programs you championed inside the county and later as the director of CASA, you demonstrated the strength of your convictions that children and families should receive the highest level of services from all agencies in our community. Our professional paths have continued to cross over time. You have always been a friend of mine and a friend of Mesa County. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and I know you will do great.
I've worked with a lot of people over the years, and they're smart, great. I've been very fortunate. But to tell you the kind of deep respect I have for Janet, I could narrow that group I'm not taking away or taking a dig at anybody. It's just having worked with Janet, all of a sudden it set my standards a lot higher on, wow, there are really sharp people out there, and she's at the top of the pile. She had a lot of compassion. She cared. She was a good listener. And, people would come in that had life a little rougher, and she had a perspective that she could share with her fellow commissioners. Hey, Scott, you haven't walked a mile in their shoes. And I have, or I understand what they have. Let me tell you about how long that mile is. That's one of the benefits she had. She really had deep compassion. She was a leader. You need to have a strong chairperson. She was a strong chairperson, and somebody that's done their due diligence. And as I've said, and I've often told this to people, really truly, I've been in hundreds of meetings with Janet, and I never walked out of a meeting with not respecting her point of view, and I never went into a meeting where she wasn't prepared. She was always prepared, which probably explains why she was there 7 days a week working out of her office. She felt every day she got to serve as a commission, she was lucky to be there, and she felt privileged to be a commissioner. That's how she was. And I'm going to miss her. She's certainly going to be successful from this point on, but she did a great service, and certainly from me, thank you, Janet. And I think I can speak on behalf of the people of this county since I saw the benefits she brought to us. She did a great job for the county, a wonderful job for the county, and it was an absolute privilege to work with Janet. And I know she's going to do very well. The county we were lucky to have her, and she'll do good. Great family, going to miss her.